Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your boy, The Sean Davey Way Show. Please hit that like and subscribe on the way in and tap that bell if you would like to be notified of all of our future content. Today, I bring you a video on TikTok's most delusional couples. This is a different type of story, so trigger warning before we even get into what we're going to get into. But there is a lot going on with Damari Alston and Trinity Perez, aka Yella Baby. Sit back, bumpy ride. Trinity and Damari are both rappers known for their music and being on TikTok, YouTube, and IG. The thing they're most famous for is their baby being unalived by the father, Damari Alston. Before we get into that tragic story, on my survivings, I like to give a backstory so people can know who we are talking about. A lot of people know this story and a lot of people don't. So for the ones that don't, here's a backstory into how we got here in the first place. Damari is a trash rapper from Wisconsin. Allegedly, he left the state fleeing from scamming. A lot of people were after him in the area, more so of Milwaukee and a couple other cities in the state of Wisconsin. So he packed up all of his things and moved down to Houston to avoid physical altercations and or losing his life. I will get into more of that later on, but as of right now, that's what I know about him. He is a rapper. He does rap. He doesn't have anything notable to say, hey, he sings this song. He has no viral success. He's also not signed to a label, nor has ever had a hit. So from what I gather, he is a trash rapper that was scamming in Wisconsin and got ran out of the state and bumped into Trinity before he left. On social media, that is. Moving right along. Trinity Perez, aka Yella Barbie, was in a group called Yella Barbies, a quartet. All three of them rapped. I believe she may be related to one of the group members, but we will divulge more of that in part 2 because there is a lot of information and I want to keep it on Trinity as of now. They were vloggers/bloggers and also streamed. They would work and collaborate with other streamers. They would do Q&As. They had beef with a lot of girls on social media, but it wasn't anything severe, nothing necessary to talk about really. So we'll move on from that as well. But this was the quartet. They were pretty girls, I would say. I think that I wouldn't have chosen the name Yella. I don't think that that is a good idea, but they chose to go with that name. Again, they may not mean anything by it, but just hearing that and seeing girls of a certain complexion isn't necessarily a good look. If I were their manager, I would have changed their name immediately. But they seem fit and deemed fit for their name to be Yella Barbies. But here's the gang gang, if you will.
So what you tryna do?
What it do, Barbie crew? It's your girl Yella Barbie, and I am back again with another video. Yeah, back and better than ever. And I'm finna speak on all this. Y'all, I'm ready. I'm ready to speak on.
Yella this,
bitch.
yella that.
Yella this, yella
I
that.
said, you nigga gonna give him back?
What? Bitch,
I
you so
fucking
mad.
I gave him that. Let's see what else do with Pat.
What? Stop playing with your cow.
Yella this and yella that. I take it.
These hosts. Make sure y'all like, comment, share, and subscribe to the video. If y'all want to know what the fuck going on and what really happened or what I really gotta say, then just keep on watching. Alright, so I'm finna just get right into the video. Enough talking, and I'm finna say what I gotta say.
Some motherfuckers know how to do these days. Talk.
So Yanni, shut the fuck up. Stop fucking speaking on Yella. The next time you say Yella, bitch, you gonna get popped in your mouth. Be quiet.
As you see, there was always some type of smoke with the group and it quickly disbanded. It didn't last long. So Yella Barbies is no longer. If you look them up on social media, you don't see them besides older posts that they made. And they also don't do the channel anymore. It's more so of just Yella Barbie. So that's how she was kind of introduced. And then she separated from the girls and took on the life of her known as just Yella Barbie. Yella Barbie became a solo artist, which always confused me. How do you have a name called Yella Barbies, but your name is Yella Barbie? I'm like, what? But moving right along, she started collaborating with other artists and doing her thing as an independent artist as well, meeting other people, producers, and along the way, she bumped into Damari Alston, who she also created a couples channel with. Let's get into how they met. I'll let them tell you themselves.
TikTok wants to know the story about how we met, so tell it. Babe, it's not funny.
You call me out, Barbie. How the fuck you doing this?
Okay, go ahead.
Alright, what?
Tell the story.
Alright, so, boom. Her friend posted on the gram. I like what I seen. You feel me? I was jumped in that DM. She ain't respond to me. I'm like, alright, bet, cool. I'm gonna keep DMing her. Cause Batman gets what the fuck he wants. You feel me? And then boom, I reposted her. She slide up. I'm like, boom, got her. She slide up. I'm like, well, I got her. They talking about they got a little album release party. I'm like, alright, bet. We gonna pop out. Come get them, top-notch section.
Damari states that he hits up Trinity after a mutual friend that they both shared on social media posted a picture of her. He liked what he saw, hit up his friend, asked who she was, sent her a DM. She didn't respond immediately. So he kept basically harassing her until she finally took the bait to see whom he was. And that's how everything started. She hit him up and said, yeah, I'm at an album release party. You should come through. He did, and the rest is TikTok delusional couple history. The part that is being left out is Damari lived in Wisconsin at the time of DMing Yella Barbie. Yella Barbie lived in Texas. That is how Damari got to Texas. He had a reason to go there now because he was already fleeing, allegedly, leaving the state because of a bunch of scams that he got caught in. Because a lot of people wonder, where does all this money come from for these lavish events and whatnot that they throw? And allegedly, he is a scammer and was running from multiple people in Wisconsin and Midwest area, including Illinois and other places. I've been looking on Facebook, seeing certain messages, and a lot of people are looking for him now. I'm not going to put them on blast. I definitely can. But a lot of people are looking for him. But I will let someone from the state of Wisconsin that knows him personally, was around him, and a friend of his tell you themselves. So again, I'm not just making anything up. I was wondering where a lot of this money was coming from, which we're about to slide into, and it all makes sense. Let's keep going. Now, remember, this is at the beginning of the relationship. So at this point, nothing has happened to anyone. Everybody's safe. It's just a loving couple that is dating. I think that they made a nice looking couple. Trinity had a daughter prior to being with Damari. So you'll see that there is a young lady around, super cute little girl, and that is not Damari's daughter. They had a lot of lavish gifts. You see a lot of lavish and foreign vehicles. The events are always up to par. People started to wonder where this money was coming from. It's just how the game goes being on social media. Some people are going to look you up just simply out of curiosity, and some are going to look you up because they are envious or jealous of what you have going on. Being a couple and having a couples channel and or TikTok, etc., it's a fierce competition out there. So if you just came out and you have about 80, 90,000 followers, no big deal. I guess you're doing your thing. But when you start to soar like Trinity did, over 500,000, people are going to start looking into you and wondering why you just got here, but you are levels or steps ahead of people that have been organically working at this for quite some time. So you are going to have certain eyes on you that you didn't even want. We get a lot of attention on social media that we're not requesting and or asking for, but it doesn't mean that we're not going to get it. So with other content creators doing just that, digging into both of their past, not just Trinity, but digging into Damari's as well. This is where all of the scamming came up. People going to look at where he was from, mainly Wisconsin, and going to see what the people in his city where he was from had to say about him. And it was nothing good. Content creator supporters and subscribers started to go around and blast the fact that Damari is a known scammer, that he's been arrested for it, that he's also running from it, and that there are a lot of people that are looking for him. People started to do interviews with certain people from his past and whatnot. It got really messy. But Damari ignored it, and so did Trinity. And Trinity just kept doing her videos and started to make it so that Damari wasn't as present in her videos because of the scamming allegations and people looking for him. There was rumors of infidelity, that Damari was cheating on Trinity. Also, him having children by other women and them coming forward stating that he was not taking care of his kids. With all of that going on, Trinity announces, which happened quickly, that she was pregnant by Damari. We know that was going to be a lot of drama if you have women coming forward stating that they have children by a man that you are now saying that you are about to have a child with. But they ignored it once again and kept pushing forward and changed all of their commentary into the baby and welcoming the baby and preparing for the child. They had lavish baby showers, lavish reveal parties, lavish photo shoots with maternity and paternity. It was beautifully done. I think Trinity always looked amazing every time she did a photo shoot for the baby, and she would use it as content, which made complete sense. If you already have a couple channel, you get pregnant, you just merge the pregnancy into the commentary. And I think she did a good job, effortlessly having people come and follow this new journey with having a baby. So it's hard for people to pay attention to all of that drama that's going on. But it's like, oh, you're happy, you're having a baby, we're happy for you. So it's a good shift in energy. They could have used it at that point in time. Trinity and Damari, more so Trinity, brought everyone through the whole pregnancy. It was content all the way up until the day she had the baby, which made complete sense. She gave birth to a beautiful baby boy named Zane Alston, which was Damari and her first son together. Now, we don't know about Damari's other children. We will get into that on part 2. But for them as a couple, this was the first baby that they were bringing into the world. So let's get into little Zane. So cute. Baby Zane was born, and it seemed like everything was going okay for the first couple days, because not even 10 days of life had passed this baby before he was already in the hospital with suspicious markings on his body. Already in the hospital, injured by another party. Now, the internet did not get that information right away. As far as we were concerned online, the baby was doing just fine. The parents were doing just fine. And not even 2 months of life passed this baby, and this happens.
Accused in the death of their own child. Now, this is a case of 2 parents facing charges in the death of their 2-month-old son, Zane Alston, who died in September of 2024.
A Harris County prosecutor is speaking out tonight. Fox 26's Leslie Delaspore has more about what happened in court.
27-year-old Damari Alston is facing capital murder charges, and 22-year-old Trinity Perez is facing a felony charge of injury to a child by omission in the death of their son, Zane Alston. The dad's bond is currently set at $2 million, and the mother's bond is set at $250,000. Now, the Assistant District Attorney Tiffany Dupree breaks down not only what happened in court, but also some important details in the case.
We believe that the father actually committed the offense of capital murder, where he caused the injuries to the child. And then injury to by omission is, as a mother, we have a duty and an obligation to protect our children, to seek adequate medical treatment for them when they are injured. And so we believe she did not uphold that duty.
Damari Alston stood before a judge alongside his attorney and the prosecution. We learned that he's originally from Wisconsin and has only been in Houston 3 years and works as a club promoter. He was read his bond conditions and told by the judge he cannot have any contact with any children under 18, including an older child of his who's a toddler. The mother did not appear in the courtroom, but her attorney did.
Well, there was already a CPS investigation going on originally where the child had been injured at 10 days old. And so then these injuries occurred when the baby was 2 months old. And so due to the fact that they weren't following court conditions that were already in place, and his lack of ties to the community, we felt that the bond needed to be high.
According to court records, 2-month-old Zane Alston was born July 6, 2024, and the first report of injuries that alarmed CPS came when he was taken to the hospital at 10 days old, July 16th. The child's maternal great-grandmother became the CPS safety monitor, and the parents were required to follow certain orders from CPS. Court records suggest they did not, because Zane was taken to the hospital September 8th with new injuries that not only prompted his death, but also got HPD detectives involved. The 2-month-old tragically died from his injuries September 11th.
CPS has certain plans in place when a child has been injured, and they were to have no contact, the mother and father were to have no unsupervised contact with the baby. They were having unsupervised contact with the baby and not following the court conditions that had been in place previously. And then ultimately the baby was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced deceased.
If convicted, the father could be sentenced to life without parole or face the death penalty, and the mother could face anywhere from 5 to 99 years behind bars.
Side note, a couple things to address. This just recently happened. This is why the story is being resurfaced. They were arrested recently, so recent as of October 2nd, 2025. This situation happened September 11th, 2024. So the internet, TikTok, Twitter, they've all been in an uproar in why they haven't been arrested. This baby passed away. Why are the parents still free? It takes time to get these cases and build these cases. There's multiple people involved, CPS, the police, the hospital. Then you also have the great-grandmother whom had custody over the child after the first incident that occurred 10 days after the baby was born. So you add in all of those elements, plus the parents, their story, their history, the background. It's a lot to put together. So it's not that they didn't care or nothing was going to be done about it. It takes time to build these cases. Another thing to address, Damari went back and forth on him having another child by another woman. Some people felt that he was telling the truth when he would say that he didn't, and some people felt that he was telling the truth when he said that he did. Well, him going to jail proves that he definitely has another child. The mother was not in court, nor did she have a statement, but the judge told him that while these charges are going on, he is not allowed to be around anyone under the age of 18, nor speak to them, including his toddler daughter shared by another woman. Not Trinity, another woman. People would also confuse that his other child was Trinity's older daughter that he had been around and been in pictures with. They took pictures together. So people just assumed that that was his daughter, but that's not true because of the time that they started dating. She was around the same age. They dated about 3 years and the daughter was around that. So people just put 2 and 2 together and was like, oh, that's his kid too. No, she's not. That young lady was born prior to Damari. Let's break down what happened to baby Zane. Damari Alston, 27, is not being charged with capital murder. His girlfriend, 22-year-old Trinity Perez, is now facing a felony charge of injury to a child. Perez's bond has been set to $250,000, and Alston's bond is set at $2 million. Court records allege Alston committed the offense of capital M against the 2-month-old at 1810 Main Street, and Perez committed the offense of injury to a child, serious bodily injury at the same address, which is their apartment. Zane Alston passed away on September 11th, 2024, at 2 months old. According to the court records, on September 9th, 2024, investigators were assigned to investigate the injuries of Zane, who was found unresponsive. According to court records, Zane was treated at 2 different emergency rooms for injuries. Court records suggest the injuries were highly concerning because of physical abuse that started when he was 10 days old. Court records say the autopsy report for Zane says he had multiple skull fractures, a very soft hemogenic brain, numerous rib fractures in different healing stages, and bruising to the back of his head. Backstory: Zane Alston was born July 6, 2024. According to records, the first report of injuries was July 16th, 2024, when Zane was just 10 days old. This report alarmed CPS. Court records suggest these injuries were a fractured arm, clavicle, and ribs. Side note, this poor baby, so he was only 10 days old and already had a fractured arm, clavicle, and multiple ribs. Fractured at 10 days old. What does a 10-day-old baby do to where you have to fracture his arm, his clavicle, and his ribs? Were you just using your hands doing this, or were you like throwing this poor baby? Like, what was going on? He's only 10 days old. What could he be doing besides crying, which is normal that a baby be doing to suggest that type of behavior towards the child? This man is really sick. 10 days old. I've heard of shaken baby syndrome and things like that, to where a parent will get extremely overwhelmed, but not in a point to where you are putting your hands on the baby. If you're putting your hands on the baby, you are consciously doing that. So that means it's deliberate. But where is the anger coming from to make you want to do that in the first place? I would just never understand that this baby was 10 days old. Fragile little thing. Wow. Let's keep going. CPS assigned a monitor, which was Zane Alston's maternal great-grandmother. According to court records, the parents, Alston and Perez, agreed not to have any overnight visitation with the 2-month-old as of July 31st, 2024. They were not allowed to see the child between July 16th and July 31st. Court records state the maternal great-grandmother agreed to move into the parents' home and supervise all contact with Zane and his parents. Side note, here's what was going on with the CPS case. From July 16th to July 31st, they were not allowed to be around baby Zane last year in 2024. As of the 31st, they were not allowed to have any more overnight visitations with him unsupervised. So as of July 31st, they can see their child, but they cannot be with him alone overnight. This is when the great-grandmother decided to move in with the parents so that all of the visitation could be supervised with the baby. And overnight, the baby was supposed to sleep with the grandmother because, again, as of the 31st, they were not allowed to have any overnight visitation with the baby without supervision. The court granted the grandmother set supervision, so it was easier for her to move in so that the baby didn't get taken away. Because if no one moved in, and I'm not going to say no one, someone approved by the court moved in to help with the baby, then the baby would have had to move out. So instead of the baby being gone living with a great-grandmother, they wanted the great-grandmother to live with them so that they could be around the baby 24/7 and raise the baby still. That is how the agreement went. So the grandmother did not drop the ball when it came to the baby. When the custody allowed them to be around the child alone, that is when things got worse. Zane hospitalized on September 8th, 2024. While an ongoing investigation by CPS and detectives from July was taking place, Zane was brought to the hospital on September 8th, 2024 with new injuries. And that is what prompted detectives to investigate. This investigation led to the current charges against Alston and Perez. The 2-month-old was taken to the hospital first on September 8th and passed away from his injuries on September 11th, 2024. According to the records, a pediatric critical care social worker met the detectives on the night of September 9th, 2024. The pediatric critical care social worker told detectives that 2-month-old Zane was brought to the hospital on September 8th, 2024. According to court records, at the hospital, Zane was discovered with a skull fracture, brain bleed, retinal hemorrhaging, and progressing toward brain unaliving. Court records state the social worker told detectives these injuries were highly concerning for child abuse. During the investigation, court records suggest Perez told detectives she did not have any complications during her pregnancy when she gave birth to Zane. What were the parents saying? According to court records, on Sunday, September 8th, 2024, the day Zane was taken to the hospital, Perez arrived at her and Alston's apartment at 8 a.m. with Alston. Perez told detectives she spent the day at the apartment, but around 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., she was on her cell phone and Alston was alone with Zane in their bedroom. Court records say Perez told investigators the maternal great-grandmother, the CPS monitor, was also at the apartment as required, but in a spare room. Perez told investigators during the visit Alston told her he tripped while holding Zane around 5:30 p.m. Court records say Perez denied family violence with Alston, describing him as a good dad. Side note, for the record, the great-grandmother was there. So when people keep saying, oh, she just let them have the baby, that's what they do. They just put the child in their name and say that they're going to take care of it, but give it right back to the parent. No, the great-grandmother was there. Again, the supervision is just being in the home up until July 31st. As of July 31st, they can be alone with the baby as long as the monitor is there. They just couldn't have the baby overnight without supervision. So again, as long as at night they brought the baby back in the room with the grandmother, then they could be alone in the house with the baby. So Alston was alone with the baby between 5 and 6 p.m. in the bedroom. Okay? Again, the great-grandmother did what she was supposed to do. She can't help that he is a monster. Let's keep going. However, when questioned about the initial set of injuries from July 2024, court records suggest Perez provided a vague answer. Alston told detectives he was the last person to see Zane alive. According to court records, Alston cited an allergic reaction as to why Zane was brought to the hospital on September 8th, 2024, when questioned by detectives. Side note, how does an allergic reaction cause a brain or skull fracture? How does an allergic reaction cause the brain to die? How does an allergic reaction cause an eye to hemorrhage? How does all of that happen from simply having an allergic reaction and to what? The baby was only drinking milk. So what allergic reaction, again, would cause an injury? Those are injuries, force, trauma. That's what that is. Wow. This is why I feel that this was deliberate. This wasn't an accident. He was purposefully hitting that baby. Let's keep going. According to court records, Alston confirmed he was home with Perez, Zane, and the maternal great-grandmother. Alston also confirmed he was holding Zane between the hours of 5 p.m. and 6 p.m., walking around the apartment when he forgot his cell phone in his bedroom. According to court records, he claimed that while walking back into the bedroom, he fell over, stumbling on his shoe. Court records suggest Alston told detectives he never saw Zane's head hit the wall after he tripped, and Zane was still in his arms, not crying. If those lies weren't enough, let's find out what they pulled from evidence from his cell phone. Dig deeper. Court records also suggest detectives reviewed digital evidence extradited from Alston's iPhone, including deleted search history on the night of September 8th, 2024, the night Zane was taken to the hospital. According to court records, the searches include "My baby won't wake up, but she's breathing" at 9:48 p.m. "Can't wake my baby, but still breathing, normal" at 10:06 p.m. 2-month-old baby hard to wake up at 11 p.m. What happens if your 2-month-old doesn't have a pulse at 11:02 p.m. Does infant CPR really work? Can it save a baby who stopped breaking at 11:04 p.m.? Will you go to jail if you found your child unresponsive? And my 2-month-old died. Is anyone getting charged? And best Houston defense lawyers' child abuse cases. Side note, this was his deleted search history the night he took the baby to the hospital. Not the night the baby passed away, because the baby didn't pass until September 11th. But on the 8th, the day they took him to the hospital, while the hospital had the baby in its care, these are the things that he was looking up but deleted. So if you were so innocent, why would any of these be in your search engine at all whatsoever? You would never be searching these things if what happened to the baby was a complete accident. You just wouldn't be. Also, these were part of the search histories that he had while the baby wasn't breathing. So before he called 911, he was looking at a lot of these searches in his cell phone. So the baby probably would have lived if he would have got the baby to the hospital immediately instead of doing this instead. But let's keep going because there's more. Court records suggest there is a 39-minute gap between the time of the first deleted internet search and the first outgoing 911 call on Alston's phone. Court records also say Alston deleted a Google search, how to pass a lie detector test, dating September 10th, 2024 at 3:40 p.m., while Zane was in the hospital the day before he died. According to the documents, detectives also reviewed call details and records for the phone number associated with the maternal great-grandmother. Records suggest there was activity near the maternal grandmother's home in Friendswood, Texas, and an incoming call from Perez with a duration of 1 minute and 34 seconds at 10:34 p.m. Court records say, after reviewing this phone conversation, records suggest that the maternal great-grandmother was not with Zane as required by CPS the night of September 8th, when Perez also took Zane to the fire station and hospital. Side note, that needs to be explained. Zane was injured between 5 and 6 p.m. The grandmother was present. She was there. She was in the spare room. That has been proven. Zane was sleeping around the time she must have left. And I'm assuming this because the injury happened between 5 and 6. Zane didn't go into the hospital until around 10 and 11 p.m. that night. So while he was injured, the grandmother was present. And all she had to do was supervise, means she has to be in the home. But they were allowed to be alone in the home with the baby. This did not happen after she left. It happened before she left. This is why she's not in any trouble, although that did go against CPS's order that she's supposed to be there overnight. So around 10, 11 o'clock when they were taking the baby to the hospital, I'm assuming that's why they call her, because she wasn't there at that time. But again, what had happened already happened, and she didn't have to be around him 24/7. She just had to be in the facility that he was in 24/7 and have him overnight. This did not happen overnight. This is why the grandmother is not being charged. Again, in my opinion, she did not drop the ball because the damage was already done. Moving right along. Court records state that a set of deleted texts between August 15, 2024 on Alton's phone was recovered by detectives. In this set of messages provided in court documents, Perez was questioning Alton about scratches and blood on Zane's clothes. And Perez told Alton he was too rough, but he said it was not intentional. Detectives reviewed a text message between the maternal great-grandmother to Perez, according to records. In the messages provided to court documents, the maternal great-grandmother questioned why Zane had a bite mark on his face, sending a picture to Perez, who responded with, "A bite mark would have teeth prints." Court records suggest Perez forwarded a screenshot of the conversation and photo to Alston, who suggested tobacco probably breaking out his face. And he had the same marks last time when I kissed him. Them lip marks, not bite marks. He might be breaking out. Side note, you were biting the baby? Like, oh my Lord, that poor baby. Like, why were you biting the baby? That's not a breakout. And then the mother responding, Trinity is no better, responding, oh, they would have teeth prints. They do. That's why she's saying something. You can visibly see a bite mark. You can visibly see if these are teeth or if it's a breakout. And then to say tobacco probably, like, no. Take your baby in. Make sure that your baby's good. Like, okay, even if you do think it's a breakout, go see what kind. Is it something that affects the skin, like a fabric or something like that? Is it tobacco? Go and see, not just screenshot it and send it to the father. It's like you're sending it to him like, see, I told you people was going to notice that you bit the baby. Like, There's no way in the world they didn't think that those were teeth marks. If the grandmother is looking candidly at the baby's face and knows that these are teeth marks, knows it so much to where she sends you a picture and says like, hey, what happened to the baby's face? And you say, oh, it's not teeth. Are you okay? Wow. Poor Zane. Let's keep going. Court records also suggest detectives reviewed a phone conversation between Alston and Perez on September 4th. The document claims the pair were discussing Alston's dislike of Perez's reaction towards him, and Perez responding, sharing her concern as to why Zane has a chin full of blood and blood on his bottle. Detectives reportedly reviewed 3 videos of Alston recording Zane while holding and talking to him. During each video, Alston reportedly is looking at Zane and holding him, telling him to fix his face and asks who he is looking at. Side note, he had beef with his baby. He had beef with the baby. Why are you holding a baby, telling a baby to fix his face and asking a baby who is he looking at? Now, normally, we would look at that as playful because people do that. Sometimes baby make cute, quirky faces or have attitudes or roll their eyes. It's like, who are you looking at like that? Fix your face, just joking around with the baby. But it's not a joke if you are hurting and harming the kid. If your kid's mother is asking, why does the baby have a chin full of blood? Why is blood on the baby's bottle? You have legit beef with this baby. How did you beef with the baby? Wow, he had animosity, real animosity towards this baby, this infant child. That is sick. Let's keep going. On September 9th, 2024, at 12:41 p.m., one day after Zane was taken to the hospital, detectives claimed they reviewed a message thread between Perez and Alston, which suggested Perez informed Alston the detectives were at the hospital. Alston allegedly responded, okay, remember, bumped head around 5 and 6 p.m., tripped over shoe, but he was still active. And we both went to Walmart. Court documents state Perez responded, K, and Alston replied, delete thread or just the messages. Lastly, court records state detectives discovered a conversation on Perez's phone with Alston on September 10th, 2024. The day a reenactment was held at the couple's apartment. Court records state Alston told Perez, when we do the reenactment, go to the end of the couch by the balcony. Investigation leads to charges. Court records suggest detectives reviewed subpoenaed medical records of Zane's treatment at Memorial Hermann. Based on court documents, it's recorded Zane arrived to Memorial Hermann on September 8th, 2024. Where he received 45 minutes of CPR prior to arriving and 20 minutes of continued CPR. The 2-month-old was hypothermic upon arrival. Placed on a ventricular fibrillation requiring the delivery of shock for abnormal heart rate, Zane was also intubated and received a blood transfusion. On September 11, 2024, after completing brain death test, Dr. O'Connor declared the time of passing for Zane at 12:41 p.m. at just 67 days old. Court records state the autopsy ruled the manner of death as a homicide and the cause of his passing from multiple blunt force trauma to the head, torso, and extremities. The autopsy report documented evidence of at least 4 traumatic events of blunt force trauma. Based on text conversations between Perez and Alston, the previous CPS investigation, and safety plan, detectives had reason to believe Perez was aware and knew Alston was allegedly causing injury to Zane and failed to report it and protect Zane. She did not ensure Alston was no longer around Zane, court documents claim. Trinity and Damari both being on social media, this made them viral stars. Not stars because a baby passed away, stars because a bunch of people are going to be interested in them instantly, and that is what happened. They did not tell the truth because why would they? They are criminals, and told everybody that the baby passed away due to his breathing stopping and them taking him to the hospital, being placed on life support. He passed away due to no brain activity and was pronounced brain dead, and now they have to bury him. Where did we find that information? The GoFundMe. Yes, they didn't waste any time putting up a GoFundMe to raise money, although they have all of these lavish situations going on, lavish baby showers, lavish reveal parties, lavish Valentine's Day, and on and so forth. But now it's time to bury their son, and they don't have the funds all of a sudden to do so. But they have funds for new shoes, new makeup, new clothes, new iPads. The list just goes on and on. But they couldn't bury their kid. They needed the community's assistance. GoFundMe was set up by Trinity Perez, and it reads as such. Zane Alston, a 2-month-old, was rushed to the hospital after not breathing and was placed on life support. He passed away on 9/11/2024 and was declared brain dead. We suffered from this horrible tragedy unexpectedly and are asking for any help for his funeral and memorial services. Anything is helpful, and we greatly appreciate it. Forever, Zane. They raised almost $10,000 of the $20,000 that they were trying to put together for baby Zane's burial. Again, they said that this was unexpectedly. You knew what happened to your kid. Y'all took your baby life. Trinity is just as responsible because she did nothing. She knew what was happening to her son. She knew that her boyfriend was doing this. She may not want to have accepted it, but it was definitely happening. The baby is no longer here. Why? The jury was still out. Again, this situation had just occurred, so people only knew what they were being told. And a lot of the information that I just read to you was some that came out later on. All of this was not out right away, okay? The timeline, all of that is new information. A lot of it. Some of it was out prior, but the majority of it is new information that the police and detectives found on their investigation.
Abusing your baby, you're a fucking weirdo. Damari, Alston, Trinity Perez, aka Yella Barbie. You don't have searches on your phone like 2-month-old baby hard to wake up or best defense lawyers for child abuse cases if you're panicking for your child. You have those searches when you're trying to cover for yourself. And that's exactly what they found on Damari's phone. Court documents also state that he had searches on his phone such as how to pass a lie detector test. That would have been September 10th, the day before the baby died. Investigators say that baby Zane had fractured skull, bleeding brain, fractured ribs, in addition to older fractures that he had from weeks earlier. Prior text messages between the two show that Trinity knew there was abuse, or at least suspected it. Text messages from them in the hospital show him reminding her what to say in regards to the injuries and instructing her to delete the message thread. You knew he was abusing that baby.
Media is not easily fooled, and they already had their suspects, which would be Trinity and Damari. One of Damari's friends who supported him came forward after being bum rushed in his DMs about what happened to the baby and that he shouldn't be cool with somebody like that would take the life of a baby, blah, blah, blah. Same thing with Trinity. A lot of people were coming at her associates like, how can you support this girl when she unalived her own baby? And at this point in time, we did not have the information that we have right now. So this is what one of Damari's friends had to say while this was going on.
Get on this motherfucker, for real. But I see all the hate and stuff, bro, again, and that's not right type shit. Because first and foremost, I really don't condone that baby abuse, no type of abuse, you feel me? But with that being said, y'all can't go with a story what's the police or whatever they putting out type shit, you feel me? But because y'all really don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? The baby probably could have died on really an accident, and y'all not even looking at it like, bro probably was scared. They probably was scared, didn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all don't know the story. Y'all just going like the searches and all that type shit. Nigga probably was scared. It's a fucking baby. You know what I'm saying? People don't know what really happened. I don't know what really happened. But I'm not finna get on this motherfucker and bash a nigga, you feel me, about what's went on type shit. Because at the end of the day, that is my brother type shit. But y'all can't run with that type of story, you feel me? Yeah, y'all can't run with that story because I'd have been in a situation that it was a story put out for me for some bullshit, and the story was nothing how they put it on there, and I'm the only one that know, and I came out to be innocent, you know what I'm saying? I'm the only one that know, but it was a whole different story that came out for some whole other shit, you know what I'm saying? So y'all, I know the feeling of what they going through right now, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to say, bro, y'all just let the story, let it play out, bro. Stop clout chasing on the internet. Oh, you burn him, bad, bro. Y'all don't know. What if y'all was in that situation and y'all baby really died on an accident and y'all was just scared and didn't know what to do? Like, the whole world will turn on y'all. You gotta put yourself in them shoes, bro. You don't know, bro. So that's what I'm saying, bro. Y'all just gotta chill, bro. The internet shit, bro. Like, stop doing that shit because these folks really going through capital murder, bro, and they really innocent. You feel me? So just chill, bro. And then like people tagging me and like, this your friend? Yeah, that's my friend. But stop tagging me and shit, man. Like, stop tagging me in comments and videos and ooh this, because I ain't gonna play with y'all ass. If I see y'all ass and y'all and I know you tag.
It was premature. Remember, all of the information was not out yet before he came to this conclusion, if you will. Feeling that since someone lied on him before, somebody could definitely be lying on Damari, or because all of the information is not out, people could be saying one thing, that they took the life of this baby when the baby could have just passed away of natural causes. And it's awful to go around saying somebody unalived their kid when they just simply passed away. I wonder what this friend thinks now. What do you think now that you have all of the information that you need? Now that your friend is being charged with capital M, what do you feel now? Do you still feel that he's innocent? I would love to hear this person's thoughts. But let's keep going. Earlier, I told you that Damari was a scam artist in Wisconsin, and I also believe he was a scam artist in Houston, stating that he was a club promoter. He never proved that. He just said that that's what he did. So since we have no proof that he was an actual club promoter, besides being a trash rapper that no one listens to, I'm going to coin him a scammer. So one of his friends, ex-friends from Wisconsin, came forward about this situation after Damari had came into her DM and told her that he would have somebody kick the baby out of her. Yes, she was pregnant at the time, and he came into her DM because of a disagreement that they had. And he said that he would pay somebody to come over there and kick the baby out of her. I think this explains a lot about his character and how he felt about his own infant child. Let's get into Brit.
Story time with this whole little Yella Barbie and her boyfriend shit, man. We gonna do story time because I personally know Damari. He goes by Mari Bandman. His name is Damari Alston. Cool. Now, from time to time, I'm gonna be pausing and shit like that, but I'm gonna speak on my side of the story that has something to do with this situation because it was involving my daughter that wasn't even born yet. So I'm gonna start off saying by I've known Damari. Damari used to be out where I'm from, type shit, Madison, Wisconsin. You feel me? He been here for a long time. People know him. People know who Damari is. People know what Damari does. Folks is a fucking scammer. He scams people for a living. That's why he don't live here no more. You feel me? Motherfuckers got tired of that shit. Motherfuckers on his ass. Whappy bam. He moved to Houston. Got with her and shit like that. Popping this shit. Whappy bam. Long story short. I'm gonna break it down. You feel me? So, me and him already got history. That's supposed to be my homie, gang. On some real shit, he's supposed to be my homie. This is in my head. This is supposed to be one of my guys, you feel me, that I be kicking it with, you feel me? I be going to him about advice, all types of shit. This is supposed to be my homie, remind you. Now, look, I do have a daughter. When I was 5 months pregnant, right? I didn't tell nobody I was pregnant. Comes to find out, somebody from this weak-ass city, which I should put her name out there because she took my moment of me telling everybody that I was pregnant. Basically, she's one of them motherfuckers that get all the tea, go to social media, and just leak your shit, type shit. So, I wake up, boom, motherfuckers find out I was pregnant. Phone blowing up. She make a status. Oh yeah, y'all know Britt the Stud 5 months pregnant, right? You already know shit finna, you feel me? You already know shit finna hit the fan. You already know that, motherfuckers gonna overdo their part. So then I hop on there, I share her status. I'm like, yep, show is. Yep, I show am pregnant. Fuck y'all gonna do to me? Fuck is wrong with it? The fuck? I could still have a kid at the end of the day. Hello. So then all the dick riders sharing it. Oh, she's supposed to be a stud, but this, that, and the third, and da-da-da. You supposed to be a dyke, and this, that, and that. You having kid, this, that, and that. Damari was one of the motherfuckers that hopped on the bandwagon. I go to his shit. He talking about some, oh, Dyke's doing dick watty damn, but in his comments he talk about some, yeah, this supposed to be, he said, yeah, this one of my homies. Man, I wish I had my Facebook G so I could show y'all this fucking post and the screenshots with me and him and all, man. So then I go to his post, he talking about some, oh yeah, I ain't know Dykes could do such and such, this, that, and the third, watty damn, like, Dykes or studs is a title, my boy. It's not a fucking gender at the end of the day, we still got a pussy, my nigga. Like, anyways. So then I go to his comments. He talking about some, oh yeah, this my homie, whoopty bam. How the fuck I'm your homie, but you sitting there on the bag wagon with the next of the next dick riders, basically sitting there disrespecting the fuck out of me, disrespecting the fuck out of friendship, nigga. And it's crazy as hell because when you was going through all this shit with what you was going through with your son, sitting there on Facebook, nigga, trying to have sympathy and you want fucking remorse and you was grieving and shit and you was, you know, you was doing all this shit and, you know, making motherfuckers feel bad for your son, nigga, I was there for you, nigga. I was literally Instagramming you, DM you every motherfucking day trying to check your mental health, gang. And then you had the nerve to sit there and laugh with the next motherfuckers making this shit as a fucking joke, like my daughter is a joke. At my most vulnerable time, 5 months pregnant, G. It's what the fuck I'm going through. You feel me? Like, come on now, G. I would have expected more from him. I would have expected more from my homies. So you feel me, slide in the DMs. Respectfully. And this is what I wish I had the screenshots, bro, because I would show, man, I wish I had it, but I don't have my Facebook. I deleted my Facebook because me and him was going back and forth on live with the girl that had fucking exposed my pregnancy. And I had inboxed him, right? And I'm like, yo, respectfully, you supposed to be my homie. Why you sitting there dick riding with the next people? That's like me talking about your dead son. That's what I said. He took my words and flipped it and made it into something that it wasn't. And then that's when we started going back and forth, and then he hit me with the, oh, I'll pay somebody to stump your daughter out your stomach. Mind you, this is the same person that was just sitting there defending his dead son, correct? But now it comes to find out you're the one that killed your son. Like, it is truly sick. That is truly sick. That right there should have told me everything that I needed to know about the whole situation. But this is exactly why I'm speaking on it. It's because it affects me in certain ways. And then now it's like, what was the point? You know? What was the point of sitting there arguing with people about your son when, you know, like, that's sick, bro. That's sick. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and just say my side of the story. I'll drop the article in the comments. You know,
with the injuries that the baby sustained, I believe that Damari hated the baby. To be able to bite a child, ball up your fist and put your hands on a child, cracked ribs, fractured skulls, eye hemorrhaging, for all of that to be going on, the baby to be declared brain dead, you had to have hated the baby. And with him getting into a disagreement with Brit and her being pregnant at the time and him saying, I should pay somebody to come over there, or I will pay somebody to come over there and kick your baby out of you, shows that he doesn't care much for life force and or for babies in general. I don't believe that he was a frustrated parent. He had too much help. He had his kid's mother, and he also had the great-grandmother. So if you were frustrated from crying or just not knowing exactly what the baby's going through within that moment and can't tell the baby's signs yet, it's taking you a little bit more time to figure those things out, then you ask for help. It takes a village. You have the kid's mother if you need a break. You can just leave, go, clear your head. You have the great-grandmother if you need to leave and clear your head with your girlfriend. You have help. So I don't feel that he was overwhelmed. I think parents that do the majority of everything by themselves are the ones that are more prone to get frustrated, that don't have that village, or the village is really small, or the village is not in the same city or state that they live in. It could be really frustrating raising a child. But in this situation, that's not that story. So I think he just truly had a hatred for the baby. I think he hated the kid. I don't think he wanted anything to do with the child. Notice in the video that Brit says that he was going around threatening her and saying things about her baby and about her sexuality and all this. And the whole time he took the life of his own child. That lets you know that it was a bigger narrative going around that they didn't do anything to the baby, that the baby passed away with unknown but natural reasons. Not that somebody took his life, but he passed on his own. While this was going on, they were throwing charity events to raise money for the baby. They were also making music videos and making songs about the child. They were doing more profiting on the baby than grieving the baby. And let's add insult to injury. While the investigation was going on, because again, the police cannot arrest them immediately because they have to conduct their investigation before filing charges. Trinity decides to have another baby by Damari. I repeat, after this baby Zane has lost his life and it's clear as day that Damari took this baby's life, she decides to have another child by him. As of 2025, she had another baby, a little girl, by Damari. Let's get into that. As you see, another baby shower, another party, all of that. You have people in the comments because they were wondering, like, where is Damari? Because she does not post Damari how she used to. After what happened to baby Zane, she doesn't post him like that anymore because she knows the temperature. People already, no matter what she posts, goes underneath her comments and speaks on baby Zane already anyway, that they should both be in jail, that she should ought to be ashamed of herself. People were thinking maybe she got pregnant by someone else because no one really saw Damari like that on her social media anymore. So they're hoping that they broke up because the lack of posting him. But no. Not only were they still together, they still lived together and they were having another baby. Someone in the comments says, hey, where's the baby's father? She comments back and says, right next to me, which is Damari, because the next thing we see is justice for baby Zane. This is part one. There's so much more for us to detail and uncover in this case. Finally, they were arrested as of October 2nd. God is good. We will keep you updated on everything baby Zane. Again, come to part two because this is just the beginning. There's so much other stuff y'all need to hear about this case, but I really hope that you enjoyed. Our condolences for the rest of the family. And again, we keep baby Zane in our prayers. And I will update you on what's going on with the second baby, what happened to the second baby, what's going on with her first child, Trinity's first child, now that she's incarcerated. Did the great-grandmother get the children? I'll fill you all in on all of that. But until next time, I love you. Keep your head up. Stay blessed. Stay prayed up. Bye.